Elfie the Elf. Written by Cheryl Devleeschouwer and illustrated by Gaitan. Time for bed, children. It is almost 9 o'clock, and I promised your parents you would both be in bed before they get home, Granny announced as she slowly lifted herself out of her rocking chair. Oh, Granny, we're not that tired yet. It's too early, stretched Rosie as she quickly covered her mouth, mimicking a bedtime yawn. Yeah, Granny, tell us a bedtime story. Tell us about one of your adventures that happened long, long ago, pleaded James as he tugged on her fuzzy blue sweater. Well, children, I have one adventure that I have never shared with another soul. A very long time ago, I made a promise to a very special friend of mine, and I'm not sure you can keep a secret, said Granny with a twinkle in her eye. Yes, we can, Granny. I know we can, begged Rosie. Let's go upstairs, and perhaps I'll let you in on a very secretive adventure, Granny whispered as they all made their way upstairs and sat down on James's bed. A very long time ago, when I was just a little girl, my father was stationed to work at the North Pole. I was very unhappy about moving away and leaving my friends behind. When we arrived at the North Pole, I couldn't believe how high the snowdrifts were and how cold it was. But the worst part was that I didn't have anyone to play with. Many nights I cried myself to sleep. I wished I could go back home, but I knew that was impossible. Christmas was getting closer, and I didn't think Santa Claus would know where to find me. One night, I thought I heard a strange noise outside of my bedroom window. It sounded like a very tiny squeaking mouse. Quickly, I jumped out of my bed and ran to look out my window. There on the snowbank, I saw a tiny blue elf crying. Oh, Granny, what did you do? Was he really blue? Did he talk to you, or did he run away? Asked Rosie. Be quiet, Rosie. Let Granny finish the story, snapped James, who sat perfectly still, hanging on to every word Granny spoke. All right, James, I'll continue. I climbed out of my window and very cautiously made my way to see this unusual little blue elf. He was so tiny, no higher than my knee. He had pointy ears and a very red nose. He was dressed in a blue fuzzy jacket with matching pants, and his face was really blue. This tiny elf was so upset he didn't even realize I was sitting next to him. Granny looked out the window and continued her story. Hello there, little blue elf. Why are you crying, and what are you doing all alone out here on such a cold night? I asked. Oh, you wouldn't understand. Nobody can help me. I am hopeless, said the elf. Hopeless? Why would you say that? Santa sent me on an errand, and I got myself lost. I don't know where I am. You know Santa? The real Santa Claus? Of course I do. I'm Elfie, one of Santa's helpers. I make toys for children all around the world, and I used to be one of the best toy makers around. Oh, Elfie, what do you mean you used to be one of the best toy makers? I can't do anything right. Everything I touch turns out to be a disaster. All the other elves laugh at me and tell me I'm a terrible toy maker. Oh, Elfie, let me help you. I know exactly how you feel. Ever since we've moved here, I have been so unhappy. I don't have any friends, and I bet Santa Claus won't even know where to find me on Christmas Eve. Oh, yes, he does. Santa Claus knows everything, and I'd love to be your friend, if you would like. Elfie, I would love to have you for my friend. Since we're friends, and friends help each other, let me help you. If you take me to Santa's workshop, I'll help you make the toys, and you'll be the best toy maker once again. Together, Elfie and I trudged through snowdrift after snowdrift until we finally found a tiny village. It was in the middle of nowhere. Elves of all different colors were busy packing Santa's bag. They were scurrying here and there. And then I saw the reindeer. They were so huge, and there seemed to be something magical about them. It was almost as if they understood every single word that was said, Granny continued. One tiny elf saw Elfie, and he called out to the others, "Hey, look who's finally back! Hey, Elfie, did you lose your way again?" A group of elves surrounded Elfie and teased him about forgetting to put wheels on the toy trains and putting soldier heads on the bodies of teddy bears. I couldn't stand to hear how mean these little elves were being to Elfie, and I yelled really loudly, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop teasing Elfie! He is a kind and sad little elf, and maybe if you realized that, you wouldn't be so cruel." Just then, Santa Claus appeared. "Ho, ho, ho! What do we have here? Elfie, why are you crying? Who is this little girl? You know I don't allow visitors here at Santa Land." "Hello, Santa. I'm Jessica. Please don't be angry with Elfie. I asked him to bring me here so I could help him." I motioned to Santa, asking him to bend down, and then I whispered something in his ear. "Ho, ho, ho! Jessica, I think you are right. I should have figured that out long ago." "Granny, what did you tell him?" asked James. "When Elfie and I were walking through the snowdrifts, I noticed he couldn't read any of the road signs until he was right on top of them. He couldn't see them because he needed glasses. Santa Claus went over to the workbench and found a pair of glasses that were just perfect for Elfie." "Oh, Granny, you really met Elfie and Santa Claus?" "You were ever so lucky," beamed James. I'll never forget that night. While singing a holiday jingle, the elves let me help them pack Santa's sleigh, and the very next thing I remembered, I was back at home. "But how did you get home?" Rosie asked. "I don't remember. I guess Santa took me home," Granny proudly spoke. "Did you ever go back and visit Elfie and Santa Claus?" questioned James. "That's the funny thing. As many times as I tried, I never could find my way back to Santa Land. All I remember is finding a letter and a tape inside my Christmas stocking the next morning. In fact, I think that letter is hiding somewhere in my pocket." Granny pulled the crumpled, tattered piece of paper from her pocket and began reading. "Dear Jessica, thank you for all your help. The other elves and I will never forget you. I am giving you a copy of the song you sang with us on Christmas Eve. I'll always remember you. Love, Elfie." "Granny, do you still have the tape? We want to hear the song," Rosie and James begged. "All right, if you both go to bed right now, I'll hunt for the tape first thing in the morning, and we'll listen to Elfie the Elf." Rosie and James snuggled up in their beds and fell fast asleep, hoping morning would just be a blink away.